I missed the button to activate the volume. Well, that's all sorted now. Welcome everybody. Smackdown is currently live. Not Smackdown live, but it is Smackdown and it is live. So welcome to the show. That is what we're going to be watching today. Good old bit of Smackdown with the return of Roman Reigns. The big dog himself has returned. The large canine knows why he's there and he is officially ready to rock. So that's something. That's what we're looking forward to. That's what we want to see. Everyone wants to see it. Everyone needs to see it. The day has finally reached us where we have every option available. We can do whatever we want. And that includes being ready for a good time. I'm getting ready for the Nightline, which I always get confused as to how that's the same thing. But apparently if you're ready for a good time, then you're ready for the Nightline. And you're ready for a good time. Do. Yeah. For those who don't know, my name is Tom Colohue. If you can't tell, a lot of people are shouting it in the chat. We have a hello Tom from Sean, a Tom Colohue from Omega, a Tom Colohue from Wolf Gamer. Ethan, welcome. Says, yo Tom, haven't been here for a while. Great to see you, mate. It's been a little while. Fantastic to see you. And Bailey says, WWE always provides a recap to start the show to reel in the casual viewer. I get completely lost with AEW. I totally get that. I totally get that. That's very much what happens with me. But that's a choice by AEW. And I see where they're coming from. If you watch regularly, you don't need those recaps. These recaps get really abrasive at times. Dylan, how you doing, mate? There's hi Tom and chat. Welcome, Dylan. How you doing? Tom is drinking Dr. Pepper today, in case you haven't already spotted from the earlier show. And I've been waiting for the show to start because, as you know, I'm on a bit of a delay here because BT Sport is terrible. Terrible. But it's finally working. So I may be slightly behind you, but I'll still be reacting as much as I can. What's with the classic can look? Not sure what you mean by there, Dylan. What do you mean by classic? Oh, classic can. Okay. I'm not sure. They've rolled back a little bit. They've had a good old-fashioned rollback when it comes to this. Sean says, fans truly are fickle, siding with Darby and wanting Cora Jade released. Basically, you all know how this works. They will side with whoever they like, regardless of whether they're right or wrong. It's that simple. Megan says, hello, welcome, Megan. How you doing? Yeah, the Cherry Coke cans have gone back to like little purple cans with big letters on as well. It seems to be a thing that they're doing at the minute. And Ethan says, how are you anyway? So I'll give everyone an update because things are slightly different than they were. I am doing very, very well for a multitude of reasons. Things are going very, very well for me lately. Today, for example, I had a job interview. Same company, slightly different role, potential extra £2,000 a year. That is going to be my second promotion because I've already had one lined up which activates at the beginning of the new year, which is for £1,000 more than what I already had. Good times. Really good times are coming right now. Really good times are happening. So I'm doing very, very well. Thank you. Dylan says, I'm a Pepsi man, but not the Pepsi man. Go for it. And Sean says, Spider-Man gear for Sasha. I have not seen that yet. Not yet. We're still looking at Brock on my screen, but I'm looking forward to it. I do love that when you guys let me know what's coming. You instead have to, unfortunately, sit there and be like, well, I wonder when he's going to react. I wonder when he's going to react to this. This is one of many reasons over the course of January I'm looking at more RAM and a new graphics card. Hopefully that should improve what's going on with BT Sport. Because it's just clearly taking up too much. Just clearly too much. In the meantime, over the course of the show, I'll do some refreshes and it should catch up. Wolfgamer says, don't mind my little rant, but I fucking hate cigarettes and cigarette smoke. Spent half an hour cleaning my fan and there's a ton of cigarette garbage stuck to the back of it and I tried so hard not to be ill, but goddamn. Feel free to rant. Go nuts as regards that. I'm not a smoker myself, so I couldn't speculate. Most of my family are. In fact, basically everyone I know is a smoker apart from me. Never tried it, never wanted to, never planning to. Everything is indeed coming up Millhouse. Everything's coming up Millhouse. It's been a very good few months. I got back from my girlfriend's house about 10 minutes ago. She's making hampers for everyone's Christmas, so I went to help build a couple of hampers. Kuro says it's WWE Smackdown, the battle for Heyman custody. That's how it should be. That's how it should be. And now I'm seeing the Spider-Man gear. While she's making her entrance, seems like a perfect time to refresh and try and catch up a little bit. I don't know how much we'll catch up, but we should catch up at least a little bit. Yeah, basically, guys, life is good. I've not always been able to say that, but I can say it now. Life is good. Oh, hang on. Something's opening on Microsoft. Welcome Someone7 over on the YouTube side. Justin Stevens as well saying it's a jobber entrance for Tony. Kind of is, to be fair. Shows it's not a case of how the mighty fall, because she's never really been considered mighty, as it were. Not really, which is a real shame. But we are where we are. For those who aren't already aware, I'm currently dual streaming on both Twitch and on YouTube. If you're only able to watch one of them, please do prioritize YouTube. It is where all of my focus is right now, trying to make things happen in that particular regard. We currently have 2 likes over there, and I'm sure that will continue to rise over the course of the show, or at least I hope it will. I hope it will. Tony Storm also seems to be wearing new gear. Oh, Shotzi's back in action. That's nice. Been a while. Been a while. Megan says, I was going to say I'm ahead of you and now on BT Sport. Apparently it's just trouble for me then. I'll upgrade the PC shortly and we'll see how it goes. Cora says, Tom, the in-ring action you wanted. Is this the in-ring action you wanted for Sasha Banks? I mean, yeah, kind of. I wanted her to wrestle. So that's exactly what we're getting. I'm pretty happy with that. This will be good for Tony Storm, so that's important. Sean says, I saw an interview with Fandango. He said he was supposed to win the IC title, but an injury stopped it, and WWE gave the title to Curtis Axel. That would make sense considering what happened with Fandango when it comes to the win at WrestleMania over Chris Jericho. You expected that to go somewhere. It didn't. Charlotte Flair is getting her full entrance. Dylan has popped over to YouTube and seen 777 subs. That's lucky AF. It is. Lucky sevens. I would like slightly more. But lucky sevens is still pretty good, isn't it? Thank you guys for popping over and adding to the like total as well. We did show earlier on how immediate an impact a couple of likes can have. We were at 8. I asked for some help getting for 10. We ended up at 13. 3 viewers came and found our show based on that. 3 new viewers. It can make a big difference. Typically, we have slightly more viewers than we do likes as the show rolls on. So I really do appreciate any support we can get on that. Wolf Gamer says, I go watch the stream on YouTube if you can, or on both Twitch and YouTube if you can. Mr. Colohue needs as much views on YouTube as you all can give him. Thank you, Wolf Gamer. That is very much the case. The watch time is very, very valuable. Views, take or leave. Views as a metric really genuinely don't matter. It is engagement on the videos that you have and how long people are watching for an average watch time of each video. It can make a real big difference. KJ says it's a fact that Smackdown has taken a hit after the draft, but if they just booked 2 guys in a ring a bit more like tonight, it wouldn't feel like Banks, Charlotte, Drew, Roman. It's a lot of star power plus Brock is here. Very true. There is a lot of talent, and they are opening immediately with a wrestling match. We have Sasha Banks, we have Charlotte in the ring, helping to put over lesser known talent, Shotzi and Toni Storm. This is good. This is very good. This is how it should be. Also, they need to start warming up Charlotte and Sasha so that they're ready when their match actually finally does come round. Sean says Fandango also talked about the match with Jericho. He said it wasn't the original plan. The original plan was Jericho versus Ryback, and that he thought Jericho wasn't happy with losing the match to him. Jericho has disagreed on that, but we are where we are. Megan says, I miss Shotzi's tank. Wouldn't make a great heel with the tank. Too popular. Far too popular. And Wolf Gamer says, Sasha's gear looks fantastic. She looks really good in pastel shades. I don't know why. But she does look very good in pastel shades. That's usually how the faces go. The pastel shades are all the rage for the good guys. Okay, Toni Storm threw a couple of punches and then stopped and waited for Charlotte to call a spot. That's not good. Then she had to move the referee out of the way so she could kick Sasha. I get why Charlotte isn't the most happy with working in this environment. Ethan says, is Charlotte defending her title at day one? It has not been formally announced yet. Yes. That's Toni Storm's finisher. It wasn't well done, but it's Toni Storm's finisher. Why did they let that happen? Also, that's 2 botches already from Toni Storm. She did not deliver that as anywhere near how it was supposed to go. Toni Storm has not hit the ground running. She just hasn't. Like, I don't want to be too harsh on her, but every match so far there's been botches. Every promo there's been botches. I hope she can sort this out. Because otherwise we have problems. So I've got a thing recently where I'm just changing the title of the video to reflect what's actually happening in the match. Or on screen, I should say. It's been very effective. Bailey says this is the main roster, no place for botches. Unfortunately, that may mean there's no place for Toni Storm because, guys, I've got to be blunt here. There's been a few. Have I cut my... Yep, I've cut myself. I know that happened. Sean says there's an interview on Insight with Jay White. Ooh. Ooh, thank you for letting me know, Sean. Thank you for letting me know. Don't know if you guys know, but I'm a big fan of Switchblade Jay White. Love the guy. Absolutely love him. Yeah, the constant changes to the title on YouTube are really helping me when it comes to Google and YouTube search algorithms, helping people find us and helping us grow. So every now and then I may get slightly distracted, but it's worth it. It's worth it. In the meantime, if you are watching on YouTube, please do consider... What was I saying? Please do consider hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button, and just joining in with the chat. We are an Ask Me Anything stream here. You can ask me anything about what's going on. You can ask me anything about wrestling. You can just plain ask me anything. Go nuts. Do whatever. Go absolutely crazy. Tell me your hopes. Tell me your dreams. Go absolutely insane. Do whatever. Like, with the way that YouTube algorithm works, if what you want to do is just like overload the chat, go for it, because that will bring more people to the chat. Ethan says, I guess it will be against Toni Storm. She defends the title too. Yeah, the plan for day one is still Charlotte Flair versus Toni Storm, but I'm going to be blunt. They're not impressed. Bailey says, no slight on Toni, but you could replace her on the roster tomorrow with Dakota Kai, and I'm not sure anyone would care. Toni Storm has been let down on the main roster. I want to be clear on that. She hasn't been given much in the way of opportunity, and then they've thrown her straight in at the deep end with Charlotte Flair. The opportunities have not been genuine. It's bad faith booking, from what I can tell. She was brought up, she won a match, and then they forgot about her for months. So, yeah, she's not tearing up trees, as it were, but she's not exactly the worst thing in the world. The company are not helping. Basically, all I want to say, that the company is not helping. Thank you, Sean. I appreciate that. Megan says, I've managed to stay unspoiled for Spider-Man and I have my COVID booster and a sore arm. So that's something to share. Well done. On both counts. There will absolutely be no spoiling of Spider-Man here. I'm watching it tomorrow. I am watching it tomorrow. We booked the tickets earlier today. By earlier today, I mean we booked the tickets like an hour ago. Wolf Gamer says, Jay White's very interesting. Did you mention that you're a fan of Jay yet, Tom? I don't think I heard you say that yet. Also, let's hope that Sheamus doesn't break his nose anytime soon. He seems to break it every week. He seems to do it every week. Speak of the devil. Literally, speak of the devil. What did I say about the benefit of trolls? And then here we are. If you're not on YouTube, you'll miss out on this because there's a guy called S. There's a guy called S. It might be for snake. Might be for sucker. Might just be for shitter. Who knows? Who knows? But he's here to just fall apart. Thank you, Sean. Appreciate that. Kuro says, I must know Tom's favourite kind of pasta. Not sure where you're going with that, Kuro. A little scared. A little scared, but in a good way. A little scared in a good way. You'll get what I mean. You'll get what I mean. We have Sasha and Shotzi in the ring at the moment. Toni Storm seems a little out of breath. Not sure why she's a little out of breath, but she's a little out of breath. Charlotte, good background acting there. It's really good background acting. Charlotte's giving real, legitimate coaching at this point. Which, I'm not going to be angry at that. Sometimes people need a little bit of coaching. Ethan says, I do have to admit, I do miss Sasha as a champion. Hope she wins one soon. She's likely to, yes. I do believe WrestleMania, Sasha will leave it as a champion. John says, I can't wait for Spider-Man. Hope it's not Tom's last appearance as the web singer. I hope so as well. I really do. There is so much more to give, and he's been incredible in the role. We are back to Charlotte versus Sasha. Sasha is building up to a hot tag. She really is. Kuro says, I keep a chart of my favourite streamers' favourite pasta dishes because I used to be a chef, so food intrigues me. Would you like to know mine? I mean, you can try and guess. An interesting one. Poe, welcome to Twitch. Says, they desperately need new and fresh women's feuds, so I'm willing to be patient with Storm. And you know what? I can respect that. I'm happy that we're seeing pushes for Toni Storm, for Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan's flown. Toni Storm has not been given much of anything by the WWE. And when she finally does get a chance, it's not a promising start. It really isn't. Unfortunately, Kuro, you are not correct. For several reasons. I believe carbonara is cream-based. I'm lactose intolerant. Like Adam Cole. Megan says, it's a shame that Toni's start to the main roster hasn't gone well. She had a lot of potential and skill from what I saw before in NXT. She's an extremely good wrestler. I don't think that's the problem. There's been botches, sure. I think it's a confidence issue, personally. I think it's a confidence issue. Because this particular program just has not worked out for her. Something's not right there. Nope, not Vermicelli, Bailey. Keep guessing, I like this. KJ says it'll be nice for Sasha to beat Charlotte at Mania. That'll be her first Mania win. And I think that'll be the one. Megan says traditional carbonara doesn't have cream. Fair enough, did not know that. It is not that. But thank you for letting me know. KJ says, make sure anyone who craps on women's match time, you time this one. Well, to be fair, when the women's matches are getting 2 or 3 minutes, that deserves to be crapped on. This match is longer because Charlotte and Sasha, basically. There's a pause before every big move at the moment. It's an issue. Traditional carbonara texture is basically egg and water. Interesting. This is definitely looking like it's going to be our first quarter of an hour, and you know what? I'm liking that. They went straight into wrestling, featuring 2 big names. 2 draws. Sean says, here's a trivia question that's non-wrestling related. You can participate also, Tom. Name 3 pure blood characters in Harry Potter. Remember, pure bloods, not half-bloods. Draco Malfoy. Bellatrix Lestrange. Ooh. Lucius Malfoy. It's all the Malfoys, isn't it? Narcissa, isn't it? I was going to do Malfoy, but I forgot her name. I think it's Narcissa. I know it's a cop-out, but it is true. I like that, Sean. Nice to get some random trivia every now and then. Mediterranean con pollo? Nope. I like that you've got Mediterranean but no chicken. KJ says, anybody see Tony Khan tweeting at Fox News on Twitter saying how AEW ranks higher than the news on Wednesdays? I did see that, yeah. I did see that. Again, I don't entirely think he understands how the ranking system works, but he does the best he can, doesn't he? He does the best he can. J-Dub, welcome, says, straight into wrestling with two big names. I wonder what other wrestling promotion did that this week and killed it with a 1 hour opening match. That is true. That is true, and it's certainly possible that is connected to it, shall we say. Certainly possible. We can't rule out the possibility that someone is playing catch-up, but if so, they're doing a good job of it. Even says, are you looking forward to Christmas, Tom? I actually am. I really am. There's a few more kids in and around the family at the minute. Just a few more kids around the family. That means that the magic has come back a little bit. So I'm excited for it. I'm going to have a very, very busy Christmas. A very busy Christmas. Megan's on for Electo Caro, Amicus Caro, and Astoria Malfoy is who I'll say. Did anyone know that I actually wrote a Harry Potter story? Now, admittedly, it comes across like fan fiction, but I wrote it with independent characters to be like at a certain time frame. It does come across like fan fiction, but I wrote a whole Harry Potter story. The idea is, I'll give you a chance, S, but you can fuck off now. The idea was I wanted to create a sort of a couple, so two characters, and S is gone. So two characters who are essentially in a relationship and use each other as Horcruxes. So you couldn't kill one without killing the other. But then in order to kill one, you had to kill the other. So they were just completely matched. But then they break up because they don't like each other anymore. That was the beginning of the story. And I was really, really proud of that. Pasta salad? No. Pasta gnocchi? No. You guys are thinking way too fancy. Way too fancy. Bailey says Fox News gets 4 times the total viewers AEW does. Tony's looking at 18 to 35 males who don't give a crap about Fox News. Yeah, Fox News will have seen him tweet that and just thought to themselves, the fuck is this guy talking about? The key demo is literally just AEW picking a group that wins. And you know what? Credit to them. They found a way to phrase it. They're very good at their marketing. But that doesn't actually make you the winner. That's not how that works. It's just not how that works. KJ says, let's hope this isn't an hour, though. They tend not to do hour-long matches unless it's a gauntlet or a tag team turmoil. I'd be happy with a half hour. I think they will be too. Okay, KJ, I'll read that shortly. Kuro says, spaghetti bolognese. Nope. Sean says, there are many answers, acceptable ones of Draco or any member of the Malfoy, Ron Weasley, any member of the Weasleys, and Sirius Black. Lots of good answers. I'm guessing there were supposed to be trick answers, such as, for example, Voldemort. But he was half-blood. Badman, welcome, says, when Bianca lost to Becky, WWE booking of Bianca was good and not bad yet. I agree, it's not bad yet. Bianca Belair's booking has been very good. It is only right that you give back eventually, and that's the main thing for me. I know a lot of people are upset that she's been losing a lot of matches recently, but you have to start giving back eventually. It makes sense for me. Poe says, you like the Fantastic Beasts movies so far? They're okay. They're okay. Kura says, I'm officially out of pasta. Are you guys ready yet? You guys ready? Macaroni cheese. Macaroni cheese. That's it. Macaroni cheese. What I like to do, I got this from my mother, who actually got it from my aunt on my father's side. I like to sort of soak the macaroni in tomato soup. So I get cheese and tomato. So it's macaroni, cheese and tomato. I just really like it. KJ says, SmackDown and Rampage both airs at 8 and goes to 10. 1 week, right? SmackDown does 3 mil and Rampage does 1 mil. SmackDown gets 2 million more, but according to Khan, they won, but they had 2 million viewers left. I don't recall that, KJ. I don't recall that ever happening. Rampage does not start at 8 to my knowledge. Thank you, Bailey, for the timing. Sean says, do you think WWE will ever have Charlotte give back? Yes. The day is coming. The day is not there yet. KJ says, I don't know if those demos would make sense beside those total viewerships. The demographics only matter to people who win them. Basically. Megan says, if you want to laugh, the Try Guys have a YouTube series without a recipe where they cook meals with no instructions or help. They did a mac and cheese episode. Hilarious. Ooh, I have to look into that. Oh, KJ. Yep, sorry. No, I get you now. I'll reread it with that context. In your scenario, SmackDown and Rampage both air at 8 and go to 10. SmackDown does 3 mil, gets a 0.67. Rampage does 1 mil and gets a 0.68. Yeah, that's 100%. Yeah. Tony Khan would say that they won because they've won in one demo. What it is good marketing. Because anything that will allow him to say, we won, means that the people who back him feel like they're on the winning side. That was a good knees up. Right. So, Tony Storm got the visible pin on Charlotte. Naturally, what that means is that Tony Storm can say, I want a title match because I pinned you. Megan says, am I right in thinking they're taping next week's episode tonight as well? You are. That will be taped right after this one. So this goes live and then they tape straight away. Straight away. For those unaware, I will not be hosting a SmackDown watch party next week. I will not be hosting spoiler warning next week. Christmas Eve will be my Christmas with my girlfriend because my girlfriend has her kids on Christmas Day. And as it's Christmas Day, they want to spend time with their dads. That makes sense to me. All fine. And then, of course, I will be going to see my family. So, balancing out as it goes there. Shinsuke Nakamura has new gear. And King Woods looks damn good. Mansoor just looks so happy. I wonder if they're going to do anything with Ricochet at any point. I suspect they won't. Respect the royal phalanges. This all gets a little bit creepy, doesn't it? All gets a little bit creepy and strange. The Usos are here in Bloodline hoodies, which are somehow even better. I don't understand how they're even better. Thank you, Megan, for answering that one for me. Kuro says, whose bright idea in WWE was it to plan a pay-per-view for January 1st? I believe that comes down to Bruce. They're trying to make it so that the WrestleMania season is literally January 1st until WrestleMania. Might be good for their ratings, but I wish they'd stop. I really do. Wolf Gamer says, bit random, but I think the people who make hamburgers should always toast their burger buns. Toasted buns are wonderful. I'm good at making hamburgers from scratch. Like, I work hard on those. I'm also very good at spaghetti and meatballs, but I spice the hell out of those meatballs. Devon Peer, welcome, mate. Says, Sasha has been booked pretty strong as of late. Do you think they are priming her to win the Rumble? Not necessarily. Usually if you're leading into the Rumble, you don't pick up that many wins because they don't want you to seem too credible. I would be looking at, for example, Naomi as a good example of a build towards a Royal Rumble at the moment. Whereas with Sasha, I think they're keeping her strong because they have WrestleMania plans for her. I'm okay with that. Megan says it's a Saturday pay-per-view, so I don't mind at all. I prefer those. I'm looking forward to how many Saturday pay-per-views there are next year. I should be able to cover a lot more of them. And I'm really looking forward to covering the Royal Rumble. That will be my 1-year anniversary as a streamer, so that's something you guys can look forward to and something that I'm very much looking forward to myself. And Kura says they not only have to compete with a holiday, they have to compete with alcohol. They do. It's not going to be the easiest job in the world. It really isn't. The Viking Raiders are on their way down. And we're getting a progressive... No recap or anything? Okay, so Jinder Mahal coming out next. The Viking Raiders basically playing up as giant killers against Jinder Mahal and Shanky. My expectation is that we are going to see the Usos versus the Viking Raiders at WrestleMania. King of Pro says, why a Saturday pay-per-view? So that they can go longer, go later, and that people can watch. I applaud it personally, but I know it's not for everyone. Right. Viking Raiders versus Jinder Mahal and Shanky. Sean says, lost my power on Wednesday due to a bad storm here in the USA where I live. 12 hours later I got my power back. That sucks, man. Whereabouts in the US are you? What state? I know that there are some pretty bad storms over there. I've been in Florida for an end of the world party. That was an experience. You Americans are crazy. There's a new Resident Evil movie. I didn't see Milla Jovovich anywhere. Different. Iowa. Oh, things are going crazy then. The one bites the dust. Megan says Americans seem to love New Year. I watched some US New Year shows and they were hype. Scotland still has the best party though. Hogmanay. I don't even know what I'm doing for New Year. Definitely not streaming, tell you that. Kura says January 29th is the Rumble, right? I do believe so. I think the Rumble's on a Saturday. Let me look at my calendar. Where's my calendar? There's my calendar. January 29th, Saturday, yep. These drinks are going to kill me eventually. KJ says, I think Banks is 5-0 on Smackdown since the draft, but Charlotte wins every live event match. Yeah, sounds about right. Gotta send the crowd home unhappy. Megan says there is a Resident Evil movie and Miller's not in it. Apparently it isn't very good though. My expectations were not high, just gonna be honest. It's Resident Evil. My expectations were never going to be high. Wolf Gaming says, yeah, the new RE movie is supposed to be based off of the video games. Well, that's very different, although they did feature a lot of the video game characters in the previous films. None of them were good. None of them were well cast. None of them did anything similar. Jill Valentine wasn't bad, wasn't terribly cast. Still, it's not great. Cora says, WWE narrowly booked that to compete with the Special Olympics. Did they? Sean says, do we see Xia wrestling tonight? I do believe we will. My suspicion is that we'll see Xia Li and Naomi versus Shayna Baszler and Natalya, with Xia Li pinning Natalya. That's my suspicion. Focuses more on the Redfield siblings in the movie. That makes sense. That makes sense. It annoys me that it's taken this long for them to realise that that's where they need to focus. KJ believe that the SmackDown Women's Division is surprisingly better in a way than Raw. I'm hit and miss on it. I like that both sides have different storylines than just the championship storyline. But, I don't know. I like the top level on Raw a lot better than I like the top level on SmackDown at the moment. KJ says, it seems like it. Natalya is in gear. Yeah, it makes sense to me. Though, to be fair, Natalya's always in gear. Like, she's always in gear. Sean says, how long do we think it takes before we get a Last of Us movie? They've apparently been going on about it non-stop for years. Nothing's actually happened on it. I'm still waiting. But it is a very difficult story to fit into 2 hours. I'd rather see a Netflix series. It's like a Last of Us Netflix series. You couldn't cast Troy Baker. You couldn't cast Ashley Johnson either, to be fair. You couldn't cast either of them. They don't have the build. But still, it would be good to see. Why is Natalya literally staring straight at the camera? Like, she just looks straight at the camera. Oh, we are getting a Last of Us series. Oh, fantastic. Oh, I forgot about that. Wolf Gamer says, speaking of the bad storm in the US, one place in Minnesota had a tornado touchdown, Wind gusts up to 85 miles per hour. Jesus Christ. Too much open space. Too much open space. Ah, Pedro Pascal. That's where I saw it. Yes. Thank you, Megan. You know everything, and I respect that. The main characters are Claire, Chris, Jill, Valentine, Albert Wesker, Dr. Birkin, and Leon Kennedy. I've not seen enough of Dr. Birkin. Like, Dr. Birkin's going to be an interesting one. They have to play that carefully. Being filmed where I used to live in Canada. Mm-hmm. And Jada said Last of Us star in The Mandalorian. That is fair and absolutely correct. That is exactly what is happening. Guys, we're a third of the way through Smackdown. We haven't even seen Roman yet. Oh. Sean says, will Brock be the draw segment? I'd imagine they're going to main event, but I'd like it. I think that'd be a good draw segment. We've already seen Charlotte. She's typically the draw segment. I don't feel there's anyone else who could fit that mold apart from maybe Woods. New Day and Usos could be the draw segment, but they've already started pushing that one along. There's a nice touch in the series, says Megan. The actress who was Marlene in the game is reprising the role in the series. To be fair, that was like identical casting. I think as well they should do that with Tess. Tess would be very good in that role. Jacob says, I was happy to hear the news of KO sticking around and most likely Sami sticking around. It is good news, isn't it? The contract is ready to go. He just has to actually sign it. I think now that Kevin Owens has, Sami Zayn will follow pretty quickly. Gura says they need a lot of grey and open fields and bleak looking buildings. The city I used to live in is almost perfect like that downtown. Bleak looking buildings. I get how you feel. Yeah, that's a shame, Megan. I wish they had gone that route, but I guess they haven't. Welcome to the BFG podcast over on YouTube. As I've been rethinking what I said earlier on the News Bulletin live stream, spoiler warning, that maybe they are putting Bobby in the WWE title match to try and get him to stay with their company. Are you all right? I'm all right, thank you. I'm very good. It may be that case. This is certainly... It wasn't the original plan. He's going to take some convincing to stay when they promised him Brock Lesnar several times and it has not happened. Sean says if KO and Sami have stuck around, then maybe they will persuade Roderick Strong to stay. Very possible. Very possible. Jado says Anna Torv is good. No? I don't know. I've not really seen her. I don't know who that is. That makes sense, Megan. Like, she was one of the only ones who's an actual actress rather than just a voice actress, to be fair. Though I do feel that Nolan North could still nail David. But I don't think that's necessarily a positive. KJ says Viking Raiders being put in Hit Row spot. Taking their push. Well, not taking it, but you know. Very possibly. Very possibly. Someone's got to step into that position. Viking Raiders have just been in that ring for a long time. While we had a commercial break. We had Natalia. We had a whole recap of Raw. Viking Raiders have just been stood there pounding their chests for a long, long time. Thank you, Jada. I will look into that. But yeah, Hit Row certainly were going to be pushed. And it does make sense for the Viking Raiders to take it. We'll see how it plays out. Kura says WWE should sign El Generico. El Generico, as far as I know, has no interest in going back to wrestling. Wrestling took his best years from him, and he seems angry at wrestling. Just wrestling as a whole, El Generico does not like it. Batman says Tony needs a character. I agree and I don't agree. I don't think she necessarily needs one. I think she needs to know how to express that. Because we haven't seen any personality from Toni Storm. We don't know who she is. And she needs to be able to elaborate on that in order for us to really get behind her. BFG says, by the way, I sent you my last question from the other live stream. Have they seriously gone to another commercial break? Viking Raiders are being stood in that... Jesus Christ. That's going to be my last one on the other one, but it cut off because it took a long time to register and you didn't see it. Fair. Unfortunately, we do have that problem with the latency. But BFG, by all means, ask the question again, and we'll go for it on Twitter. No, I have not been at home since. I basically went from show to show, so I won't have seen it on Twitter. Megan says the confirmed characters for The Last of Us series are Joel, Ellie, Tommy, Marlene, Perry. Original character. Hello, In the Mud Sports. Hopefully nothing massively crashes this time. Thank you very much for the raid of 13 extra people coming along to watch our watch party of WWE Smackdown. That is a whole load of messages. Thank you very kindly, everyone, for jumping in, saying hi, and just chanting for In the Mud. Thank you very, very kindly. Hope you guys have been having a lot of fun over there on the In the Mud Sports channel. I feel confident that you have, because I've been in that channel quite a few times. Just watching like all the different setups and the different screens and the views. It's very in-depth and it's very intricate. It's very well done. Much better done than I've been able to deliver on these old shows, I'll tell you that. This is still basic as hell. Basic as hell. Welcome to the show, everyone. Thank you for the raid. The Mud Gang is indeed here, the real Krypton TV. We are currently watching WWE Smackdown. We have started with Sasha Banks and Toni Storm versus Charlotte, Flair and Shotzi. We got more Shotzi on TV after she vanished previously. We're currently heading into Viking Raiders versus Jinder Mahal and Shanky. Roman Reigns will be featuring tonight, as should be Brock Lesnar and Sami Zayn. And we have seen more in progress for Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston versus the New Day, versus the Usos. A lot going on SmackDown tonight. It started well. We may be about to have a bit of a dip, because ultimately Viking Raiders versus Jinder Mahal and Shanky does not sound like the most exciting option. It really doesn't. Justin Stevens says CM Punk chants incoming during this match. I hope not. Ultimately, I don't think we've heard many CM Punk chants since CM Punk returned to wrestling. I think now that the fans have him back, they've just switched over. Kuro says I get to enjoy my homemade Roadhouse burgers at a Tom Colohue watch party. Ooh, Roadhouse burgers. Ooh. I do like making burgers. I like spicing the hell out of them, what can I say? But I think that's one thing I think by now everyone knows about me. If I'm making food, I'm spicing the hell out of it. I'm just going nuts, just going absolutely nuts with the spice. That's what I do. BFG says, do you think WWE will bring anybody in for the WrestleMania season other than ironically Goldberg, like The Undertaker, etc., that are not already competing on the roster currently? I believe we're going to see John Cena return around WrestleMania time, at least briefly. Other than that, I think what you see is what you get with the current situation that we have. I do think we're going to see more of a push for certain superstars such as Drew McIntyre will get back into feature. But at the same time, I do think we're going to most likely see Drew McIntyre versus Ridge Holland. So we'll see how that goes. Sean says, does anyone know if the arena is sold out? It is not. KJ, thank you for the answer there. It certainly seems busy. I haven't seen anyone on Twitter calling them out as not selling tickets and basically doing that thing that they do. It's like, AEW would sell this out. Yeah, we don't care. But we'll see how it goes from here. Megan says, spice is a good thing. The more the better as far as I'm concerned. See, Megan, we are so similar in so many ways. So similar. And you keep trying to poison me. Or poison my cherry coke. Dice cooked pierogi dough rolled with the meat, which is a mix of bacon and ground beef. That's a heart attack waiting to happen. I mean, I'm not complaining. Not complaining at all. But that is a heart attack waiting to happen. Poe says, who's left for Cena to have a big match against Edge? Not necessarily, but there are still a number of people to feature. For example, let's say Drew McIntyre. As I mentioned him earlier, Drew McIntyre versus John Cena. I don't think we've seen that. Big E versus John Cena. I don't think we've seen that. Bobby Lashley versus John Cena. I also wouldn't be angry at a new Kevin Owens-John Cena feud, to be fair. Megan corrects me. No, I threatened to curse your coke so it is flat. There's a difference. Okay, that's fair. That is what you do. I can't see otherwise. You're very much right. You're very much right. Okay, I've got to be honest. This match ain't exactly doing it for me. Megan says, do you think SummerSlam will be in the UK next year for the anniversary? I do not. SummerSlam has already been announced as taking place in the United States. But it is on a Saturday, which is also good. BFG says, I also heard that Dave Bautista might be salty with WWE for cancelling his Hall of Fame induction, then he might go to AEW as a result, even if it was a one-time deal. Is that true? No. None of it. Dave Bautista did not have his Hall of Fame cancelled. He cancelled it. He's the guy who said, I'm not going to come, so they cancelled it. He's not salty. Also, he's not going to wrestle again. He's been very open about the fact he would only ever return for any company for one match, and then he had the match against Triple H. None of that's true. Wolfgamer says, Seth Rollins versus John Cena. No, wait, never mind. Pardon me. Sean says, I wouldn't mind another Cena Styles match. Nor I. They delivered. Heavy. Heavy. Pardon me. And I would very much enjoy watching that. Justin says, not to be negative here because I'm not a wrestler, but Tony and Shotzi botched a few times during that match. I just feel like some of these people aren't ready for title matches. That is certainly possible. I do feel with Toni Storm, she is a very good wrestler, but I do feel like there's a confidence issue at the moment. I really do feel that way. Megan says, of course, it's in Nashville or something, isn't it? I think it is Nashville, yeah. Which should be entertaining. Kura says, I only make a Roadhouse burger once every 6 months because I top it with fresh habanero peppers. After my own heart right there. Jalapenos and habaneros, that's my basic go-tos. Just a lot of them. BFG says, sorry, let me clarify. He was salty they weren't going to do a workaround for the pandemic, so he decided to cancel. Salty with them for not coming up with a plan B, if that makes more sense. Still not true, mate. Still not true. There is no salt. There is no issue. There is no problem. Everyone's happy. Thank you, KJ. We have a lot of people here who do research, and I really like that. Anytime we have a question, if it's technical, you guys know I can't really answer it because I'm hosting the stream. So you guys just start researching, and I really like that. KJ, perfect example. Megan, Ghost, you guys go really in depth with some of these, and I just really appreciate it. Good show. Good show. The Viking Raiders have picked up the win. Shanky taking the pin after a big splash from Ivar. They didn't really show the heighting on the jump. The camera work hid it. But the crowd seemed happy, and that's what's most important. Justin Stevens says, happy talk is next. Lord, what has Smackdown become? This is telling. Baron Corbin continually gets the draw segment. Now, I know that Drew McIntyre's the draw, but Baron Corbin keeps getting those draw segments. They believe. We're getting a recap of a sword stab. I just like that he barely looked before the stab. Like that was well controlled. Tommy says, hi, Smackdown, not bad, good. Athlete, or bad character, and too much cartoonist. Well, that is a known issue. They do need better characters. For some reason, why are they still wheeling that? They're in a different arena. Ugh. They're in a different arena. Oh, they're really focusing on the Miz at the moment. Justin says, Veer has been coming to Raw for like 5 months. He has. He's come a long way. A long, long way. And yet he's still no closer. Megan says, are we really meant to believe they've been carting that table around all week? Seriously? Yeah, it's I'm going to say it's bullshit. It's good old-fashioned bullshit. KJ says, and it's worth reading out. A lot of us do research, but I'll admit Megan is the MVP. I think that's fair to say. Megan very much earned the modship on back of being the MVP of stats and research. Like, there is no requirement for any mod responsibility from Megan. It's just basically the stat queen and showing respect to it. Jadeb says, I base it on my bathroom breaks and snack refills on when Happy Corbin is coming out to the ring. Well, I can't blame you. Because for some reason, it just keeps going. Happy Corbin hasn't had any sort of evolution of his character for a long time. KJ says, Drew swinging swords and stabbing tables. I thought this was PG. Look, we talked about this earlier, about pulling out Drew. And just, you got to be careful with your sword. You've got to handle it carefully. Carefully. Omega shouts, Nixon Newell. Welcome, Omega. How you doing, mate? Cora says, Veer is taking as long to come as Winter did in Game of Thrones, which was forever. If it takes him 9 years, I won't be the maddest. KJ says they're probably loaded up on a truck and now it's here. Yeah. Tommy says, if you want an OVW superstar to sign in WWE, that's not going to happen. Wolfgamer says, how in the blue hell did they get that table past TSA and whatnot? Look. Megan says the draft was 2.5 months ago and Veer's done sod all. Someone get the man a sat nav for the holidays. It's a good shout. Justin says Veer to debut at the Rumble and win. Who needs Reigns versus Rock or Brockman can have Veer versus Reigns. I do think Veer will debut at the Royal Rumble in the Royal Rumble, much like Lacey Evans did way back when. He'll have a good showing, but he'll be eliminated. That's the way to do it for me. Sean says, I know there's no channel points now, but at least still do a hijack of Finn Balor and Johnny Gargano. Well, you can do a hijack if you'd like, Sean. Okay, I'll give you 60 seconds starting now. Finn Balor has not had the rub of the green in the WWE, which sucks because he's an immense talent. But because he's a little guy, the WWE don't seem to want to give him that opportunity. The same can be said of Johnny Gargano, who did wonderful things in NXT, much like Finn Balor did before him, and they are just not making things happen. Things are not how they're supposed to be. They are just not making people, they're not using people in a way that really works to their strengths. When it comes to Finn Balor, he had the match against Roman, and he has sunk like a stone ever since. Johnny Gargano has had 5-star matches. One of the best matches I've ever seen against Andrade Cien Almas. And now he's gone. The WWE, for me, don't deserve him. They don't deserve Finn Balor either. So we'll see if Finn Balor sticks around, because he's certainly someone who has options on the table and could well go to AEW. He's got the talent. They're both immensely talented and give us great memories. And we'll see what happens next. Megan says, Drew likes swinging his sword around and Roman likes smashing people. Seems PG to me. Yeah, how could anybody read too much into that? BFG says, do you think they will have another person from the Ruthless Aggression era appear in the Royal Rumble like they have in the past few years? Like Carlito and MVP, like maybe Chris Masters or something. I'm sure there'll be people from multiple eras. We'll see how it plays off. Chris Jericho would be hilarious. I'd love it. J-Dub shouts, Brock! And indeed, Brock Lesnar is on my screen. He literally just, he's paired everything up. He's got the check shirt, the farmer shirt. He's got the dungarees. And he's got a denim jacket with fur. With fur. Paul Heyman seems nervous. Roman is not going to be happy. Not going to be happy with Paul Heyman. Omega says, everyone shout your favourite wrestler. Go, do it. Go for it. Megan says, at least Lacey did those walk down things so people actually saw her before the Rumble, daft as they were. Yeah, people didn't like that, so I'm guessing they're going for something a bit different now. I don't necessarily agree with it, but we are where we are. Kuro says, call up Tony D'Angelo, reveal that Madcap Moss is actually his enforcer, reveal that Money Corbin won, that made him happy, was with help from Tony, and Tony's now ready to collect. That's automatically a decent story. I'd take it. Tommy says, Sorry guys. Tommy's saying there are superstars from the Ruthless Aggression era already and before it. That's true, and when it comes to the Royal Rumble, it's just people who don't feature all that often. Jacob said, another reason to dislike Corbin, that mustache. To be fair, you're supposed to dislike Corbin. In that regard, he's been amazingly successful, but I still miss... I miss Corbin when he was just broke. I miss broke Corbin. Megan says, Brock rocking the cozy Canadian tuxedo by the look of it. Wow. Wow, Megan. Brutal. Brutal. Wolf has shouted his favourite wrestler, Alexa Bliss. And Bailey says, bring back sad Corbin. Could not agree more. Could not agree more. People are actually clapping for this. He's getting this over. He's getting this over. Have we worked out why they wanted the sword yet? I don't understand. I don't understand. Oh, we got people saying the CM Punk chance. I'll keep an ear out for him. Fair, Megan. Uh-oh. Did get over. Oh god, this is not good. This is just not good. I think it says Pat said they were saying we want love. Tommy, yes, Jeff Hardy's gone. Yeah, absolutely gone. I can literally see people walking out, just going to concessions. You can see it. The idea is Corbin essentially is supposed to annoy you so much that you're just really happy to see Drew McIntyre. No, that is a strong CM Punk chant. That is a strong CM Punk chant. I can hear it now. KJ says if it didn't happen during the Raiders match, it wasn't going to happen at all. And yet here we are. BFG Podcast says so much for the face turn for Happy Corbin. He was briefly looking like he was going to be a face. It sucks. Wolfgamer just says, man, this is terrible. He is right. Jada says, oh crap, I got back from the bathroom and snack and they're still on. Take your time, mate. Take your time. There'll be a Drew soon, but this is a draw segment. If their rating tanks in the second hour, they've got no one to blame. People are literally about to start flicking to the other channels looking for something different. Mega says, also wanted to deck whoever wrote this garbage on behalf of the people of Scotland, then Moss for agreeing to do it. Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. Poe, I agree. Corbin should go back to being sad. Sean says Corbin and Moss can't pull out the sword because they aren't worthy. Also because they're not trying to. They always think that you can't tell. If your muscles aren't engaged, you're not trying. And we can tell that you're not. I can see your triceps working, Riddick Moss. That is not how you pull. Ugh. Megan says, take the sword out of the table and straight for a kneecap or two. Drew's going to wanna. Drew's going to wanna. Yeah, they're pulling it sideways. Yes, Wiggly, indeed that was a CM Punk chant you could hear on Smackdown. Why is this still going? When you hear the CM Punk chant, send out Drew McIntyre. It's not hard. Now our draw's turned up. Drew McIntyre has arrived. He'll pull this sword out, no worries. Oh, I agree, Tommy. WWE don't need CM Punk. They also don't need CM Punk chants. That's bad for them. Hey Wiggly, how you doing, man? Why aren't they just running away? They're still trying to get the sword. Why aren't they just running away? I need to sneeze. This show is so PG. Performance issues. KJ says Drew about to pull the sword out the desk like Link pulled a sword out of a rock in Super Smash Bros. Well, it is the Master Sword. He will just... Drew McIntyre is just going to whip this out without worrying whatsoever. He's going to whip it out with no effort. Megan says I want to slap Cole for not saying Glasgow right. Fair. Fair. Like, that was 100% just taped in. Justin says, why do this segment in Chicago? Because they dumb. They dumb. Kura says, if CM Punk was still employed by WWE, when they start chanting for him, send out anyone except Punk. Well, they tried. He did not want to come back. Megan said, it's not that difficult to get it right. It's not a hard word. Glasgow. It's true, KJ. They did a bit of sleepwalking there. Drew Wiggly, a very impressive win for City. Chelsea is starting to drop away, which I think is a shame. I don't want a two-horse race, but of course I am very happy if my team is in the two-horse race. Jada says that was an absolutely terrible segment. I mean, you're not wrong. You're absolutely not wrong. Wiggly, they should sell the kilts. I think they'd sell. Megan would sell by like 15. BFG says, I wonder if Corbin gets released eventually, if he will be a big star elsewhere. One of the least likely to get released. He's incredibly popular backstage. Incredibly popular with the management as well. Corbin will get his opportunities eventually. But I think he's certainly capable of being a big star anywhere he goes. He's too reliable at the moment. Sean says Sheamus must be the draw segment. There's got to be someone. Wiggler says Heyman coming out to the CM Punk theme years ago with epic trolling. Yeah, they nailed everyone with that. Absolutely nailed everybody. Which is always fun to watch. Always fun to watch a mass nailing. Sami Zayn is backstage with Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville. Sonya Deville's belt buckle is damn cool. No, Megan, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. JW says, here's a money match for you. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus El Generico and Kevin Steen. Book it. Well, JW sees the problem here. Kevin Owens and Kevin Steen are actually the same person. Also, El Generico, not available at the moment, does not want to come back to wrestling. He wants to stay with his orphanage. Gotta be careful. Gotta be careful. Kura says Rich Holland has a club. He does. It's weird. Right? It's weird. I never got it. It's weird. He's a massive guy with a little tiny stick. I don't get it. Doesn't work for me. Justin says this Smackdown sucks. It started well. It's fallen pretty hard pretty quickly. The first match was great. And now we're all basically just waiting for Roman and Brock. Where are they? Where are they? Next up is Sheamus. Not Sheamus. Is Cesaro versus Ridge Holland again. My expectation here is that Cesaro wins by DQ. I don't think Ridge Holland will be taking the loss again. But at the same time, I don't necessarily think Cesaro is going to be picking up a win either. I don't think it'll be a clean loss either way. Megan says, is Ridge Holland meant to be a copper or one of the Peaky Blinders? I think he's meant to be Peaky Blinder. I think that's what they're going for. It's not working. It's even worse when you look at Sheamus with an actual cane, and then you got Ridge Holland with a little tiny stick. Sheamus' old theme was good. Oh. I've still not got a proper explanation as to why these two like each other. Why does Sheamus like Rich Holland? We heard a whole thing from Rich Holland, had nothing from Sheamus. I don't get it. Might just be me being dense, but I don't get it. Megan has pitched, they both like hats and long coats. That's an option, certainly. Justin says, I'm the only guy who thinks it's stupid when people arrive like 15 minutes before the show ends. You're not the only guy. It's ultimately completely ridiculous that Roman Reigns would turn up with only 15 minutes left of the show. And he's going to. We all know he's going to. He's going to turn up for a 10-minute talking segment at the end. Why is he allowed to not show up to work? Why is that a thing? BFG says, did you see anyone else decent name value in danger of being a cut from WWE? Despite what we said earlier today about them not being able to afford to cut anybody else. Cesaro? I'm saying it. Cesaro. There's a number of people that could be in a difficult scenario because of it. I'd certainly be keeping an eye on Cesaro. I think beyond that, no real big names, especially if Rey Mysterio are likely to hang it up soon. Cora says the whole episode is just trial proceedings for the hearing of custody of Heyman. Other matches are just other court cases we cleared up before. Wolfgang says they both love to fight. Oh, we're thinking of a different wrestler. Slightly. As we're just over halfway through Smackdown, I'm going to take a brief pause, get myself a new drink, pop to the bathroom, and I'll be back in just a moment. Please, nobody go anywhere. I'll see you very, very shortly. Hello everybody, I'm back just in time apparently. Cesaro's taped up for some reason. Let's catch up. We are still watching WWE Smackdown. I'm still Tom Colohue. My name has not changed in the few minutes that I was away. We are still live on both Twitch and on YouTube. Not the strongest day on YouTube, I'll admit that, but we're on 6 likes. That's not bad. That's not bad. I'm trying to work out this whole guaranteeing views on YouTube thing, and I'm not the best at it, I've got to be honest. J-Dub says, anyone see Sami's tweet earlier today? Photo of him and Brock from last week. Said he was 2 minutes away from getting Brock to switch to vegan. My 2 fave guys right now, classic. These two should not be friends. They have absolutely no shared interests, but they are working extremely well together. Just extremely well together. Wiggly says Reigns is probably having dinner somewhere. Yeah, he doesn't need to turn up to the show. He's ahead of the table. He can do what he wants. Sean says Richard holding the shillelagh reminds me of Finlay. Everyone's reminded of Finlay whenever there's someone from these here aisles. What can I say? Wiggly says, could you see Sheamus being cut? Unlikely. Very unlikely for me. Bailey says that keeps Cesaro. Now the Viking Raiders, well, they are actually very, very low contracts. Contracts for the Viking Raiders are very low, so it's kind of not worth cutting them when you could just have them around as bodies. Sean says, I'd hate to say it, but Nikki Cross could be a cut. I also feel that the way that they're using her at the moment lends itself to a quick and quiet exit, which I don't like. I like Nikki Cross, but unfortunately, they're sending her towards the exit mark. Wolf Gamer says, I'm still very disappointed we won't get weekly vignettes of Brock and Sami getting into different types of shenanigans. What a wasted opportunity. I agree. Imagine that, but like the Fashion Files. Just do it. Just do it. I want it. KJ says we're getting the 12-man match tonight or next week. You may be ahead of me, KJ. I have no idea what you're talking about. No idea. And KJ says, much as I hate the Nikki Ash character, I love the theme song. They can do so much more with her. This character ain't it. I gotta be honest, I would put her back with Alexa. I'd let her develop a character that fits the Alexa Bliss world and work from there, to be honest. Let her lean back into her Nikki's Got a Secret roots, but with a bit more well-roundedness from the tag team. But then, does that hold back Alexa Bliss? It's a difficult one. It is a difficult one. It was a backstage segment with Sami, Pierce and Sonya. I missed it. I did see it. I couldn't really hear it because I was talking over it. Fair enough. Poe says, I'm hunting in Canada. Brock showing him butchered meat would be great. Do them when Brock's not on the show. It would be clever. Just film 5 or 6 vignettes during a 2-3 hour recording period and just show them one a week. It would be fantastic. Sean says, would you be surprised if Naomi, Natalya and Tamina are cuts? Yes. I expect Tamina will eventually be cut. Natalya, no. She does too much training. She's too valuable to them. Naomi, no. Because there are definitely racists amongst the management of WWE who think the fact that they have Naomi means that they can't possibly be racist. That's what I said. That's what I said. I stand by it. Megan says, I think the match is next week. Sounded to me like it was going to be a gauntlet to be the number 1 contender to the IC title. Ooh. Well, I was expecting Sami Zayn to move towards the Intercontinental Championship soon. It's a big positive for him because he's definitely not going to get the top championship, and he did want championship. So I did mention this earlier on today. Sean says it's a 12-man gauntlet. Cool. Nakamura doesn't even need a challenger, and if it is Sami, he's probably going to lose it. Maybe it'll be Drew. Drew McIntyre just walking around backstage to the sound of Naomi's theme. It's fun. It's fun. Right, I'm expecting Naomi and Xia Li versus Shayna Baszler and Natalya here. I think the rhythm's got me. I can't dance. I can isolate. That's about it. we're heading to the end of the second third. And ultimately, all we've really seen, there's been no progress in this feud. This started around, I want to say SummerSlam time, because it was before the draft. And since then, we've just seen the same. Sonya Deville not giving Naomi opportunities. That's all. Just again and again, week on week on week. There's been no progress at all in this storyline. It is not good. It is just not good. So what's left on Smackdown? I don't believe there's any announced matches now. Not that I can remember anyway. Though we haven't seen Xavier Woods or the Usos in action yet. I'm expecting we're going to see one member of the New Day versus one member of the Usos again. Just makes sense, you know. We've already seen the women's segments. We're going to get another women's segment now. Happy with that. Don't think we'll see any more. We just need something that leads nicely into Roman and Brock. The Usos being involved would make sense to me for that. Outside of it, I'm sure we will see Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs. So maybe we'll see another match between them and Los Lotharios. BFG says I got to ask Trent, former tag team partner Croft, question on a Q&A the other day. Said he would be open to a run in AEW. Always worth asking the question, but I do think that allows people to put themselves in the shop window a little bit. Someone 7 says, will NXT be live for those 2 weeks or be pre-recorded? I'm not sure. I don't see why it wouldn't be live, given that it doesn't actually fall on any particular holidays. Megan says, it was around SummerSlam when Naomi randomly switched brands. I remember Sonya being annoyed announcing her name in the draft. I do remember that, yeah. So it has been going on for a long time. They've involved Sasha Banks for a while. They've involved Shayna. They've involved Natalya. They're now involving Xia Li. But ultimately, there's actually been no progress at all. Nothing's actually happened in this feud. So hopefully that's something that changes soon. KJ says, let's say Sami re-signed. What's the odds he wins the IC title again? You know how they give guys a small push to stay and then another one once they re-sign. I think it's quite high. I think they need to move it off Nakamura. I feel they need to move it off Nakamura. So I'd say it's quite likely. We'll see how it plays out. Word that I got, that I shared a spoiler warning earlier today, was that the contract signing is all but a formality. So not officially signed as of yet, but I find it very interesting that this time last week, I posted about Sami Zayn signing a new contract. 7 days later, guess what Dave Meltzer's reporting? Sami Zayn might be signing a new contract. Ask yourselves for a moment, with my record, and I've got to be honest with you guys, I've got a good record, as many of you will know. If you're a frequent viewer of Spoiler Warning, you know I've got a good record. It's provably true, what I report. Ask yourself why it never pops up on any of the big news sites. Ask yourself why they wouldn't want to report news from someone who's been consistently proven right. You'll eventually find your answer. Megan says, at least this feud isn't about a romantic interest or a title. Fair. I'll certainly take that. Sean says, if they take the belt off of Nakamura and move him up to the Universal title picture, I would. I genuinely would do that. BFG says, has also said he's been retired for the past decade, would be willing to come back, and he recently had a baby and joined the Best Friends. There's a lot going on when it comes to the personal lives at the moment, especially with COVID and everything. There's a lot to play. Megan says, it's getting close to, this might be a bit racist territory with them using Shayna's mixed heritage as the I'm not racist look at my friend defense, which is garbage. So I want this feud done and soon. I agree. I'm definitely thinking this is going to be something that pays off in the Royal Rumble. But I don't know how it's going to pay off in the Royal Rumble. There is a genuine possibility of Naomi winning the Royal Rumble. Eternally, Kuro. Eternally. Jacob says, as much as I love Sonya, enough is enough. Get in the damn ring and fight. I agree. Sonya Deville should be able to beat Naomi. She should be able to do that. Like, Naomi just saying, take your suit off. Maybe not. This is getting dark. BFG says, I'm surprised he said he would be open to coming back to the industry, even more to the fact he's being teacher of middle school. Ooh, busy. And Sean says, Sonya eliminates Naomi in the Rumble or vice versa. I'm going to say Naomi eliminates Sonya. At which point Sonya actually decides, no, I'm going to beat you up. Let's do this. Oh, Shayna Baszler. What have they done to you? What have they done to you? Someone 7 says, did they ever explain why Sonya hates Naomi so much? No, nothing. No explanation whatsoever. Nothing. Bailey says, on the men's side, who's the biggest surprise they could realistically add to the Rumble? CM Punk. 100% CM Punk. KJ suggested Elias, which is also fair. Kura says, Santa Claus in the crowd needs more camera time. He does. That's fair. I would like to see that. J-Dub says, is Elias still employed by the WWE? Yes, he is. Jesus Christ. There was a push coming. Do you remember when Shayna Baszler was injuring everyone? There was a push coming. The hell is the point? What the hell is the point? Sean says Sonya is very talented and has tons of potential. She can definitely be a big star. I agree. I think she's already basically there. They just need to make it official. Why are they hiding in the dark? Megan says Shayna had people literally cowering in fear in NXT. She did. She was breaking everyone. Breaking everyone. This is the best they can do for her. I remember that, Megan. That Elimination Chamber. And now it's like it never happened. Like it never happened. Baron Corbin and Riddick Moss are getting another segment. Maybe they shouldn't. Maybe they just shouldn't. Maybe Bailey says maybe they need to turn Shayna and Asuka heel as a bizarre mega heel tandem. Well, Shayna is technically a heel. She's just not used very well. Jacob says this has become painful. Yeah. And KJ says the woman and 2 guys in a closet is PG dad. KJ, I don't really read it like that. Really don't read it like that. I believe it was Trish, by the way. Megan says, oh my god, they're actually pulling the chair. You'd think they would have the money for it to be motorised. Well, it's actually on ropes. It's actually on ropes. And this is very lopsided a pull as well. This looks like it'll be our final match of the evening. It will be the New Day Uso segment in the build-up to Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. Jada says SmackDown is a new Raw or Raw is the new SmackDown. They flipped. They have flipped. The brand did not help. Wait, hang on. Wait, what? We're having actually Usos versus the New Day. This championship match is happening on day one. Why are they doing it now? I don't understand. Wolf Gamer says, I'm pretty sure that Shayna could go against the Murder Grandpa and not back down. I would love to see that. That's a really good call. She would stand up to that fight. She would 100% stand up to that fight, and I would be thrilled to see it. Thrilled. Drew's going to squash Moss at day one, I'm guessing, says KJ. Possibly, that would make sense. And Megan says, Usos versus New Day is basically mashed potatoes and gravy of wrestling, comfort food to enjoy at any moment. Absolutely it is. Absolutely. Now guys, before I continue, as we're heading into the last half hour, I would like to ask for a favour. If you're on Twitch, I've just posted the link to the YouTube stream. The YouTube video is currently sitting on 6 likes. I'm hoping we can get to at least double figures for every video. At least double figures, which means I'm looking for, if possible, to get 4 likes on that stream. If you're currently on Twitch, you have a YouTube account, you haven't already popped over, please do consider jumping on over, hitting that like button to give us those extra 4 likes that I'm looking for. It really does make a big difference to the growth of the channel. I don't think we've added any more subscribers over the last week or so. It's a little bit disheartening, but you get what you're given, you get what you're given. And honestly, I'm still very happy to be hosting the stream and just having a great time with you guys. But if we're looking for growth, I would like to know if you're able to jump over there and give it a few likes. It would make a massive difference to me, and I would really appreciate it. Thank you to everyone who has already done so, because I can already see the number ticking up. Thank you, guys. As silly as it sounds, that double figure can make a massive difference. Megan says, ooh, Shayna versus Murder Grandpa. They would have so much fun doing that. They would. I think we'd all have so much fun doing that. All have so much fun. I got straight up to 8, now 9 likes. Fantastic, guys. Much obliged. BFG says, what do you reckon is going to happen with that Control the Narrative group? Are they just going to show up to different companies over the next few months? Pretty much, yeah. EC3 has a plan, and he wants everything to be done within his universe. So it's pre-agreed with the different companies, but they will be showing up at a few more once they have sort of earned the trust of the companies that they are working with. Because creative control is something that wrestling companies do not want to give up. They don't want to give it up. They don't want to give it over. So we have to be patient with it, but those things will eventually start happening. We have reached 10 likes. Thank you very much, everyone, for popping over to YouTube and helping out there. It really does make a massive difference, and I do very much appreciate it. Has the potential to help us find new viewers, increases our watch time. Even just the likes increases the engagement level, and the greater the engagement level that you have, the more that they advertise our shows, the more that YouTube says to other people, hey, you might enjoy this, come watch it. Really makes a big difference, so thank you, everybody. Bailey says, from Twitter, every woman on the SmackDown roster was mentioned or seen on TV tonight except for Aaliyah. Is this correct? I do believe it is, yes. I immediately thought of Natalya, but we did see her. Shotzi and Toni Storm both wrestled. I think it was everyone. Yeah, apart from Aaliyah, yeah. Jadab says, how does this make sense? Cole just announced this match is also happening at day one for the titles. Tonight's match is just for fun. Makes no sense, does it? Makes no sense. Yes, BFG, that does include AEW Impact. They are waiting for EC3 to essentially prove to them that he's allowed to have the element of creative control that he's looking for, but everything will be pre-agreed. Pre-agreed. Also, Braun Strowman is bloody expensive. They will not be paying for him. Sean says, if the following characters were wrestlers, what would their finishes be? Spider-Man, Gambit, Wolverine, Obi-Wan, Darth Vader, and Ken. Is that Ken like in and Barbie? For Spider-Man, it would be the Claw. Because I can imagine him just squirting in your face the entire time. Anyway. Gambit. Oh, Ken from Street Fighter. Oh, Hadouken. I mean, Kenny Omega uses it. Gambit's an interesting one. I'd imagine he'd be a bit of a high flyer, to be honest. Ooh, discus clothesline. Discus clothesline. Nailed it. Wolverine would stab you. He, like, literally just stab you. Obi-Wan Kenobi would probably win it with a clothesline. Oh, Darth Vader, yeah. Megan says choke slam. I agree with that. He likes the choke. A choke slam for Darth Vader makes perfect sense. King of Pro says, that's sad. Aaliyah deserves better. I didn't expect we'd see her wrestle at all, so it's good that we got something. Megan said, Gambits would be like Hangman's buckshot lariat for me. Could be, could be. Maybe a pumping bomber. I'd like a good old-fashioned pumping bomber. Kofi Kingston just got hit so hard that the guy kicking him literally just floated over him, which I believe is Jay. I think that's Jay. I'm not sure. Not sure. BFG says, that sounds really cool. Hopefully they do more storylines with different people in the future where they just tour around different companies and have fun rather than being tied down somewhere. That essentially is what Kyle O'Reilly is trying to negotiate at the minute. That's what Kyle O'Reilly is trying to negotiate with AEW. It will happen. It will happen. Game Process, Stab leads to prison for 20 years. Not in a wrestling ring. Not in a wrestling ring. Pardon me. And Megan says, I still have trouble telling the Usos apart even now. It's not easy. I mean, I'll do what I can, but I'm only human. Not sure on that one, Kuro. Ace Austin has got that element to him, certainly. He's very suave. I've only seen a bit of him personally. I can't help but feel that they just ran out of time. They must have had some sort of plan for this, but they've thrown together a tag match that makes absolutely no sense here. There is no reason to have this tag match. But it is a guaranteed win for the crowd. Everyone's going to love it. Maggie says, Christmas is officially in a week and I'm not ready. You are not alone. I have 2 people left to buy for. Just 2. Just 2. BFG says, I apologise if I've missed you talking about this earlier today, but do you know what the present is going to be from Adam Cole at Dynamite? Not sure. I do feel that Kyle O'Reilly's the most likely one because I know he's currently negotiating a contract with AEW. So I think that's the most likely scenario for that. We did go into a lot of detail on spoiler warning earlier. You could always, of course, if you've missed any of that, watch spoiler warning back. It is available on YouTube in full if you want to check it out. Right, there's only 25 minutes left of Smackdown. There's going to be at least 2 more commercial breaks. And we're going to have a segment with Roman, Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar in our main event. It's not going to be a long segment. Not at all. I'll say this match goes for another 3 minutes tops. And then we head straight into, oh, Roman Reigns has arrived. Oh, Roman Reigns is coming down to the ring. Commercial break. Oh, Roman Reigns is in the ring. Roman Reigns is talking. There's Brock Lesnar. And then all goes to hell. All goes to hell. I kind of want all to go to hell. I want something new. Like, I enjoy what they're doing with Brock and Roman, but I don't want it just to be about that. I'd like something new. Kuro says, get the lawyer ready for Paul Heyman and Lesnar and Reigns. Who do we have as a lawyer? Tommaso Ciampa. Happened before. BFG says, any word on Johnny negotiating anywhere, or do I have to go back and look at that too? Don't mind doing it, just curious. I'm happy to fill in blanks. BFG, I did answer, for example, the question that you asked about Adam Cole there. But there's a lot that I will have said that maybe you didn't, that's not immediately coming to mind. That's why I say that. You don't have to do anything, just to be clear. As regards Johnny Gargano, he's not currently negotiating with anyone. He's having brief conversations, but he's choosing not to commit anywhere right now. He's choosing not to commit to anywhere. He'll be making some appearances over the next few weeks, very brief appearances for different companies, testing the water. But at the moment, his focus is very much on non-wrestling endeavours. For example, his Twitch. And from my time on Twitch, what I've learned is that if you're not already a big deal, you don't make it that great on Twitch. Tell you that. Twitch is built to aid the big guys. It's a capitalist enterprise. Keeps the rich rich, keeps the popular popular. So that's what's going on with Johnny Gargano. Sean says, any word on Xavier's status? Still not much coming from Up Up Down Down. There are still debates on that. He's still not happy that he had to say goodbye to the party. That was a real bone of contention. So he's not the happiest. They are giving him a lot in order to try and keep him happy because of the overall immense value that he brings to the company. To my knowledge so far, not entirely convinced. Bailey says, could Gargano appear at the Rumble as a one-time deal to test his response? Yeah, absolutely. There's a number of people who could do that. I could honestly see Kyle O'Reilly doing that just for the hell of it. There is nothing stopping people from doing that. It's one of the reasons I would actually really like if Chris Jericho was in the Royal Rumble. The WWE can trust him to go in, eliminate a couple of people, then go out after 5-6 minutes. It would be a big moment for him. He could literally walk out and just shout the words AEW all he wants. It would just be a really good moment for everyone. The WWE would get a pat on the back. AEW would literally be showing clips of WWE. They should do it. I just don't think they will, but it would be great. Kura says, my little cousin calls Johnny Gargano Johnny Garbanzo. Oh, that's cool. That's cute. That's cute. Sean says, would AEW trust Jericho being in the Rumble match? I'd imagine so. It really depends if Jericho trusts WWE. Like, it's unlikely to be, if that ever happened, it's unlikely to be a situation whereby he comes in for 2 minutes and eliminates no one. I think it'd be a bit more than that, but we'll see how it played out. I just think it'd be cool. I know I'm fantasy booking a little bit, but I would enjoy it. Some of these super kicks are real fierce. Just really fierce. Okay, just says the Usos lose way too much. I agree. Kofi Kingston has just pinned Jimmy Uso, which sucks. But hey, as we go into day one, there's tension now. Oh, a new shirt. Is that the... Is he wearing the shirt? Bloodline number 2s. Is he wearing the shirt that says Needle Mover? Because if so, I want to see him in it. Sean says, if Jericho ever comes back to WWE, it'll be for a Hall of Fame induction, in my opinion. I think that's likely. I think that will definitely be one time when he returns. But I do think he'll flop back and forward quite a bit. Billy says the Twitter conspiracy theories would be out of control if Jericho showed up, but it would be a huge pop. And yet, that's the thing. I would love to see it because everyone would lose their shit. Jobber, mid-carder, main eventer, tribal chief. That's good. That's good. We have 2 segments left. They will feature Roman, they will feature Brock. They will not feature the Usos. They will definitely feature Paul Heyman. We may also get another one of those Raw recaps because we didn't really get that much of it. Sean says, when was Roman ever a jobber? He never was. He was always a main eventer. Always. BFG says, I would like to see WWE join the Forbidden Door. I don't think that will happen for a few years yet, if it ever does. No, I don't either, but I think there are certain specific names that the WWE would make a deal about. Moxley, for example. They would definitely make that deal. Chris Jericho, they would make that deal. They would not make that deal for Kenny Omega. They would not make it for Pac. They would not make it for MJF. They would only make it for people that they've worked with and had as world champions before and that they trust. And I think Jericho's the perfect person to make that happen. Imagine the meltdown. It would not be a joining of the Forbidden Door. It would be a one-off appearance, but it could build to something better. It could build something better. Sean, that's correct. Stone Cold did ask for permission, and exactly as Poe was saying, the WWE did let Jericho do the Broken Skull sessions. And they basically not only mentioned, but in many ways hyped AEW on their network. It was a damn good step. If the next step is Chris Jericho in a Royal Rumble, give me that step. I'd like to see it. And I think, as much as anything, it shows the fans that maybe the WWE aren't evil after all. They're just accepting money from evil, tyrannical regimes. You know? They're just harbouring people accused of all sorts of abusive actions. That's all they are. Kura says, get JBL as a judge and Ciampa as a lawyer. It's custody battle time. Oh, it is genuinely just a fight for Paul Heyman. And I'm there for it. I am all over it. I did not expect to be as invested over a fight for Paul Heyman, but here we are. The moment has come. Very much not long left of the show. But the segments involving Roman tend to be the good ones. Smackdown, it started good. It looks like it's going to finish good. But this in the middle segment has been very difficult. Baron Corbin, not good. I'm a Baron Corbin fan. That was a bad segment. Yes, Sean. He appeared as a lawyer. That's one of the reasons I'm referencing it. Kura says, Charlotte versus Tony is for the title next week. Right, okay. Well, I suppose they're kicking that off the day one card then. Suppose they need a draw match. If that's a main event, and they do basically the same thing they did with Becky and Liv, I'm there for it. It sounds instead, though, like they're just wrapping it up as quickly as possible. Of course, the result is going to get leaked immediately. Toni Storm is not going to win. Not going to win. 12 Days of Christmas Gauntlet match. Alright, let me have a look at this. I want to see who the competitors are. Gulak, Mansoor, Cesaro, Ricochet, Mahal, Shanky, Los Lofarios, Viking Raiders, Sheamus, Sami Zayn. I mean, that's a good collection of people. Good collection of people. Bailey says, what happens to Tony after day one? That's a good question. I gotta be honest. Either nothing or don't like it, do believe it. BFG says, in other words, you're saying that they could join the Forbidden Door from time to time on the odd occasion with people they are already familiar with. Yes, although they would not phrase it as a Forbidden Door because that is AEW specific branding. There's not actually a door. It's not a case of working with AEW. It's a case of working with individuals who happen to work at AEW. I've mentioned Jericho, I've mentioned Moxley. I do think at the moment they're the only ones. In time, there will be others. Matt Hardy's definitely not one of them. Ooh, Christian. Christian's definitely one of them. Megan says, I can see our one a bit being the gauntlet, a Roman segment, Usos New Day segment, then Charlotte and Tony. Also reckon they might confirm Naomi Sonya for day one. I think they should. Just give us a damn match at this point, you know? I want to see the match. I want to see Sonya actually physically get back. I'm not too well at the minute, guys. Sean says if they do a women's battle royal at WrestleMania, I can see Tony in that match. I can see it in that match. I can't see her winning it. Unfortunately, she's just not impressed people. And I think this is affecting her confidence. This entrance is taking so long that it might be the only thing we get between the commercial breaks. BFG is saying, I like Tony over, I'd imagine you saying Dana there. Dana at least has an interesting push at the moment. And to be blunt, at the moment, she's not botching as much as Tony is. Okay, I need another drink. Oh, I'm not going to sleep tonight. I've had too much Dr. Pepper. There's so much caffeine. It's not even sugar-free. Nope, it's genuinely not even sugar-free. Last 2 hours I've had 100% of my sugar intake. Wonderful. Should have got some water. Jacob says Heyman looks quite impressed with himself. Well, so he should. I mean, he's engineered a wonderful revitalization of Roman Reigns. It's just about what comes next now. This is the best Roman we've ever had. And probably one of the best champions I've ever had. Hi Jermaine, not yet. I'm going to see Spider-Man tomorrow. Tomorrow. Ah, right, okay. So BFG says, I like Tony over the McMahons. Tony seems more of a genuine caring guy. Seems to have a better culture within his company, more of a family, welcoming environment as opposed to WWE. I do see what you're saying, and I do agree with you there. Tony Khan has fostered a better working environment. No question there. But it is also a very new working environment. Give it time. Bailey says, is that a purple suit on Heyman? I'm seeing royal blue, personally. I'm seeing royal blue. The Usos are there. Okay. Guessing they never left. They just put their hoodies back on. They are there as losers. No worries, BFG, I get it. No worries. Also, hi Jermaine, how you doing, man? Opens with a mention of Chicago, always a risk. This Roman should not get CM Punk chance. If anything, this crowd is very mixed on Roman Reigns. Lots of fingers in the air. Lots of fingering for Roman. We all know that's how you show respect to Roman. You finger him. There is a Roman chant going on. Crowd is hot for the guy. I got it bad, got it bad, got it bad. They're hot for Roman. I do a lot of singing on these shows. He's killing time here. He's just killing time. I mean, the red one, Megan. Not bad luck. Immediately calls out his cousins for the loss, which he should. His head of the table. They're not doing their job. You gotta bring him back in line. They just added tiny subtle bit of red to everything. Just to everything. There's a tiny little bit of red. Okay, Daniel, you're in the right place. Welcome to the show. KJ says, I'm late, but did you all see the camera shot on Roman's entrance when he was on the apron? Everyone had their fingers or arms in the air while they were all standing. Kind of looked attitude era like, but not that much. Get what you're saying, KJ? There was just a lot of fingering going on. Oh, Roman's talking about disrespect. We know where this is going. We know where this is going. Paul Heyman's about to be in a lot of trouble. Paul Heyman looks a little shell-shocked. You're right, BFG. You're right on that one when it comes to healthcare specifically, yeah. Jermaine says if WWE is smart, they would keep Toni Storm with Sasha Banks for a while to help get her over. That seems to be the plan. But Sasha Banks is going to need to go independent soon for her feud with Charlotte. You can't keep it too long. There are certain facial expressions that Roman does that I really quite enjoy. Paul Heyman's going to have a full-on breakdown. This is beautiful acting. Roman is asking Paul Heyman to pick a side, and pick a side now. I'm not sure Paul Heyman can make that choice. BFG says, I had a friend that worked in AW for a brief time, said that Tony seemed like a real nice, genuine guy. It's good to hear. Good to hear. KJ says, Roman making a face like, what the fuck, you about to cry? Megan says, I have to confess something. I'm not a fan of segments like this. Paul Heyman should not be the most important guy in the ring or in this feud for me. Essentially, the reason that they're focusing on Paul Heyman is because they know it's going to get very samey. They've already done a lot of Roman and Brock. They're just trying to do something different. In that regard, I'm enjoying the segment. If it was always just this, then I get where you're coming from. I personally disagree. Yeah, KJ says, I agree with you, but they've got to add an element to this feud since it'll be 2 or 3 matches. He's going to pick Brock. He's going to pick Brock. Acknowledge Roman. Finger him. Just finger him a little bit. We've talked before about spoilers. Literally, and not as in spoiling a match. Someone put in between 2 people who are feuding. Like Keith Lee between, pardon me, Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton. There was never an intention of a push for Keith Lee. It was just to keep Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre apart because they knew they were going to go match after match after match. They were killing time. They were spinning wheels. So they added a new element. Oh, he is picking Brock. Oh, go on, say it. Say it. Strong reaction from the crowd there. Very strong reaction from the crowd there. Roman does not look happy. I understand, Megan. I get what you're saying. the whole spoiler concept does take something away from the overall storyline. It means it just takes forever for the actual story to start for me. Ooh. You can see the Usos. They know what's coming. Oh, the crowd are really into this. How has Jimmy Uso ended up with all 3 championship belts? Did Roman ask for the steel chair? I'm pretty sure Jay just got it. Logically at this point, this is a setup. And day 1 ends with Paul Heyman supplying chairs for Roman, distracting Brock. Because ultimately, the championship's not going to change hands at day 1. It's not going to. What I like is that Roman Reigns literally is holding a chair over Paul Heyman's head and Brock Lesnar decides to just stand there for a moment. And then slowly walk his way down. You think Roman can't do a lot of damage in this time? You really think he can't do a lot of damage in this time? My favourite thing about Brock is that he literally don't give a shit. Like, it's real. If he wants to take you down, you have no choice. He's taking you down. It's real. Yeah, Reigns is definitely winning at day 1. You want a Brock and New Day moment at day 1? Interesting. Sean, the Usos land on their feet when they take the F5 so that they can spring off. There's a number of people who used to do that. I always found, for example, Triple H took the Stone Cold Stunner better than anyone else. He would drop to his knees and then drop to the side. And use the spring of his knees to bounce to the side and then flatline. The Rock, however, would bounce to keep his feet down and then launch in every possible direction. I prefer the flat landing, but Roman always takes it on his side so he can roll. Yeah, just as you're saying that, Wolf, I can see the pop collar and it's like he's gone vampiric for some reason. Possible, Jermaine? Possible, a triple threat for WrestleMania for Brock, Roman and Drew. I do think we might be getting Drew versus Ridge Holland, though. Megan says they're all facing the pieces of the bloodline. Enemy is my friend. Also admit it would be hilarious to see them interact, especially this version of Brock. Given what's been happening with him and Sami Zayn, yes. Just yes. And they are straight on to recording their second night. Jerry says Brock and Sami versus the Usos, which would be fun. Would be fun. There's quite a lot of just really good ideas that I can really get behind. BFG says I feel sorry for the Chicago crowd having to sit through a whole another episode that they're filming right now. It's not going to be easy. It's absolutely not going to be easy, but they're going to do the best they can and just sort of hope that it goes where it goes from there. But Smackdown is now over, and that means Tom Colohue is gonna go bye-bye. The night is young, but not for me because it is 3 a.m. and Tommy needs to go sleepy. Go bye-bye. Thank you everyone for giving me the time of day, for joining the show. What will be our last Smackdown watch party of the year. We will host 2 shows on Monday. Spoiler warning. And the Monday Night Raw watch party. We will potentially be doing a YouTube only show Sunday night. I don't know yet, but that may be sort of a wrap up of the year, just like a year end party. That's what I'm thinking. In the meantime, I'm going to say a big thanks to everyone who's joined us. Hope everyone's looking forward to more shows in the future, and I hope to see you all on Monday. I've been Tom Colohue. You've been fantastic, and I hope everyone has a great night.